Hey guys, Kevin here. As you can see, I'm on the motorway, I'm driving. It's cold, it's very cold. It's -3 now, but this morning it was like -6, -7. I was up early, I was up at 6 in the morning. I do jiu-jitsu and go to some of the morning classes wherever I can. And so I was up really early for 7 o'clock in the morning jiu-jitsu. And both getting to the car, having to scrape and defrost and all that half six in the morning is soul destroying. I digress. So, how loud that guy's car is. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a little vlog style video. I'm travelling into Glasgow. It's about an hour drive because of how cold it is and the traffic and things like that. And I thought I would do a video, talk to you guys about something, and what I wanted to talk about is region locking. Now, region locking is something that thankfully isn't as common as it used to be. Now, back in the day, big speed, there we go, it's a 50 miles per hour limit and then it goes up to 70, so that's why everyone kind of just starts zooming forward. Back in the day, games were always region locked. So that meant when you had a NES or Super NES and things like that, you could only buy games in your region. For me, that was EU. For others, that was North America or Japan. So the number of regions for a particular system changes. It really depends on the company. But I think most of them did like North America, Europe and Japan, and then there was like China and Africa and things like that. What that meant was that, to play games back in the day, you had to buy like converters. For example, I remember getting Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It was a USA version, and I got it very shortly after it came out in America, and I paid an absolute packet for it. I think I swapped like 4 or 5 games to get it, and then I had to use a converter. I've still got the game up in my loft actually. Moving forward over the years, it was something that kept going on. And more recently, Microsoft were thinking about doing it for the Xbox One, but there was a bit of a backlash when they realised that it was going to be region locked, so they dropped it. So the PS4 and the Xbox aren't region locked. What that means is that you can play games from anywhere around the world. And back in the day, I guess they could argue why they have to region lock things. They set different prices in different areas, currency exchange rates, distribution, and it's to stop people going elsewhere. So, for example, in the UK, we always paid through the nose for games, and not double, but not far off it. Sometimes, because exchange rates, we'd pay much more than people in North America for games. We'd pay a lot of money, and what a lot of people would do was to import games. So you get games sooner, you get games that weren't released in your region, and a lot of the time you get games cheaper. I'm experiencing this problem again because of that Nintendo 3DS that I bought the other day. So check out that video the other day that I published. I'm so dehydrated from training. So I published a video the other day about this 3DS. I bought a Nintendo Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3DS. It's not the XL, the kind of regular size 3DS. And I picked it up for only £50, but the problem with it is that it's region locked. Now, Nintendo region locked the Wii U and they region locked the 3DS. Can't remember if they locked the DS. It's something I'll maybe have to check. They might have. But I know that the Game Boy Advance isn't region locked, so for my Game Boy Micro, for the SP, for the Advance, I can buy games that were released in Japan, that were released in North America, and they'll play in my European Game Boys. So there's no problem. It doesn't matter where the cartridge is from, I can play it. But that isn't the case with the 3DS. This 3DS that I've got is from North America. I suspect America, USA. So I can't get into any store here and buy a game because it won't work. Now, there's a few ways I can get around this. but it's kind of annoying that I'm put in this position. One option that I've heard is that you can do some kind of hack to the SD card, and what it does is it kind of tricks it into saying that you know, it's a UK machine and it'll play UK games. Another option would be for me just to buy games from America, just only import them. But I think in theory it sounds good, but I like the idea of just, you know, if I'm out and about and I see a game cheap, I would just like to buy it, and that's not something I can do, you know, if the game only plays American games. So I can either do the browser hack and just start buying British games, or I can just import games from America, or I can go down the pirate route and just hack it and just emulate it. Now that's a popular route as well, but although emulation is good, I really do want to buy the original games. I want to buy them in the boxes. I want to buy the games that I like, the Mario games, the Zelda games, fighting games, role-playing games, all these kind of games. And I want to buy the originals, and, you know, and I enjoy collecting games like that, you know, buying the originals. I've never ever used emulation for a current system, and I never really want to. You know, I enjoy playing the retro games mainly because this is what I grew up on. You know, playing retro games, firstly it's because you enjoy the games, but secondly a lot of it is because of nostalgia. You know, when I was 10 years old, it was, you know, or 9 or 10, I got an S. You know, playing all these games, you know, brings back a lot of happy memories. You know, I played this SNES in my teenage years. Yeah, I think I got this SNES when I was 12 or something. And then the N64 when I was at university and all this kind of thing. So there's a lot of nostalgia there with retro games, and you know, it's great playing back games that you had as a kid. So you kind of feel less guilty about emulation because, well, one, they don't sell the systems anymore. So whether you buy an original card or whether you emulate it, the original company or the original developers aren't getting any money. But with current games, I don't want to do that. And this is the frustrating thing about this region lock thing, because I want to buy games. I want to go out and spend money and give money to Nintendo and buy these original games. But they're not letting me do it. They're forcing me into the hacking community to try and find a hack. Now the problem with that is, now I've read about these things, right? You can do a hack. Let me let this bus in. The problem with this browser hack thing that annoys me is that I can do this hack on the SD card, and it's supposed to let me play UK games. Now, apparently it does work, so I could play UK games on it. But there's a lot of problems with this, right? Because firstly is that I've read a lot of scare stories. One is that if you sign into your account, you sign into your Nintendo account, which by the way, I've got credit on to buy games because I've got a Wii U. If I sign into this account and then they find that I've did something like this hacking, then they're going to just ban my account, which, you know, I'll lose money, and it also means I can't play the games I've downloaded for the Wii U and that kind of thing. So that's frustrating, and it's very, very annoying. So that's making me very reluctant to do that. The other thing is as well, like I'm lucky that the 3DS I've got, it's actually got one of the older firmware, which apparently makes hacking easy. When you buy a UK cart, what it does is when you get a game, it'll update the software sometimes. You know, it'll have the latest, it'll have a firmware update, and it'll update your game if you put a certain game in, things like that. I believe that's the case, correct me if I'm wrong. So what that means is, I believe, is that if I buy one of these newer games and put it in, it's going to update the software, which then means that it's harder for me to do this hack that allows me to play UK games. So then I need to go back to the drawing board. So if I put in a hack that lets me play a game from the UK, and then I put in a UK game, they might update the firmware that stops the hack from working. You see the problem in here, the dilemma. Now the safest way for me to do this is to put on like one of those homebrew launchers and just emulate all games. But I don't want to do that. This is the frustrating thing. I want to buy these games originally. Now, you could argue that the only way for me to do that was to just buy another 3DS, but it's frustrating that I have a fully functional, mint condition 3DS that should be able to play games from the world, just like my Game Boy Micro, just like my, the SP and all these other systems. But I can't, because Nintendo have got this archaic rule about region locking. Here's the thing that really annoys me about this kind of thing though, is that Nintendo handheld systems are sold in every single airport in the world. Now, what that means is, if you're away on holiday, if you're travelling, if you're backpacking, if you're on a connecting flight and you want to play Nintendo, all these shops will happily sell you a Nintendo. So you'll buy a 3DS, say you're in business in New York, and then you travel back to the UK. All of a sudden that 3DS you bought is worthless because it can't play the games that are sold here. So they know this problem exists. People are travelling more than they did 20 years ago. People are flying around more. People are moving around more for business. They're going on holidays a lot. And when you go on holiday, that's when you want to play your Game Boy. That's when you want to play your Nintendo 3DS. So why the region locking it is so frustrating. I'm sure many of you have been through the same issue. You know, it's just an annoying thing with gaming, you know. I feel like you want to just grab someone in Nintendo and shake them, because I feel that it's things like this that push people towards the kind of emulation side of things, you know, that push people towards getting ROMs. I could put all these games on the system free of charge, illegally, probably. I think it's illegal. I'm not sure what the rules are in the UK, but I imagine it's illegal. But you'd think they would try to make it, they would try and make some sort of workaround to this. For example, why can't they, like, say for example, give you a 3 strikes and you're out rule? So for example, you buy a Nintendo 3DS and say for example you're someone from the UK, you're going to America for 6 months, and I don't know, maybe like when you get to America you can't buy American games, so they say, okay, you can convert this to an American 3DS, change your region. Okay, you change your region, and then you're back to the UK, they'll say, okay, you can change your region again, and maybe after 3 times they say, sorry, you have reached the maximum amount of times you can change your region on your console. Something like that. That's still region locking, but I think it's given a little bit more flexibility to users. There's been a lot of people that's obviously been stung by this. I think it's a silly rule. I really do think it's a really silly rule, and my hope is that in a future firmware update that they remove this. Now here's the thing, apparently Nintendo are not doing it with the Switch, so they didn't do it with the Game Boy Advance, not sure about DS, I think they did, and with the 3DS they did region locking, but apparently with the Nintendo Switch they're not doing that. So hopefully the Switch is out in the start of the year, in March or something like that, 2017, I think it's around that time. Hopefully if that's region free, hopefully they'll then start saying, okay, we're going to start seeing less sales of the 3DS, let's make it region free. Hopefully they do that, but there's no guarantee in this. What's your thoughts on this, guys? I'd love to hear what you think about this region locking thing, how much a pain it is. So please let me know in the comment area below. I think it's absolute bullcrap, but let me know if you've experienced the same issue. I'd like to know what you guys did, if you went down the hack that allowed you to play games from any region, whether you got whether you lost your account with that as well, because I've read a lot of scare stories about people getting their accounts permanently banned, and that worries me, and it would very annoy me. So thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, take care.